Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we are going to finish up with our first unit, which is titled Big Changes. Our lesson today is the last lesson, which is the project and self-reflection. It will be in your books, page 18 and 19. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 18 and 19, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. Let's get started. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to interview a person. What is an interview? How can I interview a person? Also, you will be able to reflect on your learning. And we are going to get to know what is the meaning of reflection. Ready? Let's get started. At the beginning with the project part on page 18 in your student books. Here, we're going to speak about an interview. For an interview, I want to make an interview with someone. Now, what are the steps that I am going to follow? What should I do at the beginning? At the beginning, you should choose your topic. What is the topic, the main idea of my interview? Am I going to interview someone about, let's say, traveling, about learning English, or is it going to be about maybe about immigration? What is the topic that you would prefer? Choose your topic. Then, based on this topic, you will find a person. So, my interview is going to be about traveling. So, this time I'm going to interview someone who is a constant traveler, who travels a lot. I want to make an interview about learning English. You can interview your English teacher or someone who speaks English very well. So, based on the topic, you can come up with the person. You don't want to come up with anyone who doesn't know anything about the topic. Then, now I know what I'm going to ask about, and now I know who I am going to ask. And now it is our focus, which is prepare your questions. I know what I'm going to speak about. I know how am I going to speak to. What are the questions? You have to be prepared. The interviewer should be prepared. What questions are you going to ask this person or that? If it is about learning English, you're not going to ask them about family. You have to be specific. Then, I got my own questions. Now, it is the do time. Now, I am going to do my interview. It is the interview day. I will sit there and I will interview my guest or the interviewee. And while you are interviewing this person, you will take notes. However, this one depends. It depends on how you would choose to take your notes. Maybe it will be videotaped, or it is voice recorded, or maybe you will take notes, written notes. So you choose your own way. All done with the interview? We're not done yet. You have to come up with a product. Now, you will start writing your own interview. You will write it down. So you can send it to a magazine or a newspaper to be published. Or if it were a videotaped interview, you want to make a video, you will edit it. You will edit the interview. Okay? So these are the steps. We're going to take them one by one. Let's continue now on your books, page 18 as well. Number 1, find a person, a relative or a friend, someone who is a family or a friend who has lived or lives in another country in the Gulf, the Arab world, Europe, or another part of the world. Now we got our topic. What is the topic that we are going to interview the person about? Is it about traveling? No. So our topic is someone who has lived or lives in another country. Someone lived in the past in another country, or now he or she lives in that country. and we are going to make an interview with this person. So our topic is about living in another country. Who is now? I would find a person. Who are you going to choose? A brother, sister, mother, a parent, father or mother, a relative or a friend, anyone that who had been through this experience. You will come up, you will choose them, the best person, just choose them and interview them. Now we got the topic and the person. We are ready. Now prepare questions that you would like to ask them, this person, in an interview. You can use some of the questions from the conversation on page 11, which is the conversation between Hans and Samer. You can use some of the questions here. So it is step number 3, prepare your questions. What questions would you ask? I will come up with someone who lives or has lived in another country. It is an interesting topic. What question would you love, things we would love to know about him? For me, I will ask him, where do you live or where did you live? The country, the other country that they lived in. Then I would ask, how long have you been there? For all your life, 3 years, 10 years, how long have you been there? It will make a difference. Also, what do or did you do there? The reason, why are you there? Are you there for work, study, or you will settle there and live? Also, a question like, did or do you miss your country? Do you miss your country? Did you miss your country? So these they are. Then let's go to the following. I want you to start interviewing the person and write the answers in the chart in notes form. You might have to interview your friend or relative over the phone. So now it is the time for the interview and taking notes. Just prepare your question. We have done them already. Now it is the interview time. Choose your media, whether it is you're going to send a letter, you will send an email, you will send a text. It's up to you. Okay, now we are going to fill out this one. Name of the person you are interviewing. Who are you going to interview? For me, I will interview my brother. And I will write my brother's name in here. Then we will list the questions, 3 questions in here, and the person's answers in there. So let's choose 3 questions and their answers. The first one is, where do or did you live? What do or did you do there? And do or did you miss your country? So these are the questions that I have chosen. You can choose your own questions. What do you do there or any other one? My interviewee answered me this way. Where did you live? And he answered me that he lived in the UK, in the United Kingdom, in Britain. Then, what did you do there? He was there, he studied, or he's still there, so he would tell me that I work there. I am in the UK because I work. Or I studied. Do or did you miss your country? They will say, yes, I do. I miss my country. Or I did when I was there, I missed my country. Come up, just choose a person, someone you know, or a family or a friend, and try to choose any question to ask them about their lives abroad, outside their country. Okay, now let's go to the other part, which is the self-reflection, page 19. In your books, page 19. Okay. What do we mean by the idea of self-reflection? The idea of self-reflection, it is a way of assessing yourself, your ways of working, and how you study. What do we mean by that? We always need marks, or we need someone like the teacher is telling us, you are doing a good job. You do a perfect job. However, the best person to tell you whether you are doing good or you need to practice more is you yourself. you are the best person to tell yourself whether you are doing well or not doing well. So that's why we are calling it self-reflection, as if you were looking into the mirror and tell yourself, I was so good in this. No, I need to practice that much more. No one is much more honest than you. So, to reflect is to think about your learning and improvement. We're going to go through Unit 1 step by step, and you will ask yourself, how am I doing? Am I doing well? Then you will say, yes, I am so good in this. However, I need to practice that much more. No marks in here. Okay, let's get started. At the beginning here, we are going to brainstorm ideas. I want you to flip through the book from the beginning of Unit 1 until today's lesson. What have we taken so far? Is there anything about the present, past? Is there anything about learning English or traveling? Anything would be a good answer. For me, I found that we have covered so far word events. When we spoke about the unification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and these changes. Then, we've spoken about the interview. Today's lesson the project was about an interview, and even the conversation or even the listening was about an interview. Also, with the writing lesson, what have we written about? We have written about big changes, things that happened in the past, and we can live the effect today. They affected our lives today. Also, global issues, things that we are doing today, and they will affect people's life, the future generations' life, and the future. What are these? And we have come up with 14: global warming, globalization, pollution, and many others. Migration, the vocab immigration, emigration, and migration, moving from one country to live in the other. Then we spoke about the present tense. Present tense, simple and progressive. When to use this and when to use that. Also, we've spoken about the past tense, simple and progressive, and how can we put them in one sentence using when. And in the pronunciation lesson, it was about the sentence stress or the word stress. Stress in certain words within the sentence, which are the most important words. Now we got an idea, and I believe that you came up with many others. I will ask you questions about the topics that we have taken so far. Which one of these you think that it is interesting? I like it, and I like to read more about it. It's not easy or difficult, it's interesting. I like it. Maybe you would choose word events. It's a very interesting topic. Things that happened in the past and how we live the change today. Then, what about something that you dislike? It's not interesting. It is not my cup of tea. I don't like it. What is it? You can choose any one of these. It's not difficult. However, what I have read was enough. Any one of these. Then, something that was easy. That was a piece of cake. Very easy for me. And I believe that I got it perfectly. Maybe it is the sentence stress. It's an easy topic. How about something that we will call a challenging? It is a bit hard for me and I need to practice more. Just check your understanding, any one of these, and choose something that you need to practice more. If you check any one of them, just go back to the lesson and check your understanding and reinforce it. Okay, let's go to cover them one by one. Here, what are we going to do? We're having here each topic. This one is the topic that we have covered in this unit. In which page? On page 6. You can refer, you can go back to page 6. So on page 6, we discuss some past word events and their present effects. They happened in the past and their effect today. Now you will ask yourself a question. How am I doing? Am I doing good? Can I discuss past events and their effect today? And you will tell yourself on this scale how good you are. I am so good. I need to practice, or I am not doing it well at all. I need to go back to it. Ask yourself this question. So let's go to them one by one. Can you discuss past world events and their present effect? On page 6, we have discussed the unification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Also, we discussed the United Arab Emirates. And we discussed also the communications revolution and space race. When did they happen? And their effect on our lives today, whether positive or negative. All of them were positive, having positive effects. Now, then on page 7, check it in here, on page 7, we talked about global issues. They were, by the way, on page 7 you can find them, 14 global issues. What can you name any one of them? Let's try to label some of them. At the beginning in here, what do we have? A problem. Too many people. So it is overpopulation. Population, the number of people. Overpopulation. We're having many people more than Earth can afford or can accommodate. Number 2, what's wrong with water? Fresh water scarcity. It is a scare. In the future, we might not have enough fresh water for everyone to drink. Also, the last one in here, it is pollution, regardless of the type of pollution. Air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, or whatever kind of pollution. These are things that we are doing today will have effect in the future. Let's try to speak about them. That was a part of a homework. I want you to name or choose an issue, one of the issues, the 14 issues, and you will tell me a fact about it, something we can never change about it. What is it? And the effect. In the future, this thing might happen because of the issue. So, I have chosen global warming. What is global warming? What do we mean by global warming? A fact about global warming. Global warming, it means that the planet is heating up. The temperature is rising. Each summer is warmer and hotter than the previous one. If we keep on, if global warming keep worsening and become worse and worse, higher and higher temperature, what might happen maybe 100 years later in the future? The sea level is rising. So in the poles, water is going to melt, and water or the sea level is going to rise. We will have floods, which is a problem. You can choose any of the global issues and talk about. Then highlight whether 1, 2, or 3. Then on page 8, which was the grammar lesson, we spoke about the use of the simple present. What do we mean by simple present? Something that is happening regularly. An action that happened yesterday, it is happening today and will happen in the future. Present simple. So, how can we form it? We will use the pronoun he, she, or it, they, you, we, or I, followed by the verb. If it is singular, so we will use S, and this one stands for does in a question or a negative sentence. However, here we will only use the verb itself. It stands for do, not does. Okay? Then we compare between the use of the simple present and the present progressive. You can refer to it using in your books, page 8. Simple present and progressive. Do you remember? Progressive means we are going to use the ing. So let's try to complete this conversation between Alexa and her friend's mom, Mrs. Lewis. Alexa will say, "Hi, Mrs. Lewis. Where be Grace?" Present of be. Where is Grace now? Mrs. Lewis, she still upstairs. Now, she is. So here we're speaking about she, so it will be she is. I think. Think is a stative verb, so we're going to use think as it is. Never use it with ing. She finished her project at the moment. What is she doing? She is finishing her project. She is working on her project. You are listening. You are taking an English lesson. What do then you at the moment? Mrs. Lewis, what are you doing? She was looking at her. She was working on the kitchen. What are you doing? What are you doing now? What are you doing? Mrs. Lewis, I make a pizza now as well. I am making a pizza. When? Now. Be you hungry? I'm asking her. Are you hungry? Why did we use here for be? We used are because we have you. Are you? Is she? Are you hungry? Yes, I am because we have I, so just use am. Yes, I am hungry. Grace and I too. So here what do we have? The pronoun here is we. We are meeting Muna and Sierra in a while, like in the near future. We are meeting them. Not now, later on. So present simple and present progressive, which is with the ing. And on the same page, we have talked about the use of simple past, something that happened in the past, maybe yesterday or last week, and it's all done. And we compared it with something that, yes, it happened in the past, but the effect, we still have the effect until today. The same page, page 8. Now let's compare. My brother and I go to the zoo yesterday. This is our key word. It happened yesterday. So we went to the zoo yesterday. And also yesterday, we see a lot of beautiful animals there. And we saw a lot of beautiful animals. Some of the animals be on the endangered species list for a long time, since the 80s until today. Until today, they are in the endangered species. So, animals have been. Today, they are in the endangered species list, and yesterday, 10 years ago. Yesterday, I loved the giant pandas. I loved them. They be beautiful. They were. And they be hungry too. They were hungry. All of them are in the past. One of the pandas sat under a tree, as I saw it yesterday, sat under a tree and ate a lot of leaves. Yesterday, I learned that, yesterday, so this is our key word, I learned that the giant panda on the endangered species list since 1980, so starting from that date, has been. So the panda is on the endangered species list since 19 until today. Then on page 16, the form, meaning and function, you ask yourself, can I ask questions and give short answers with did, which is the simple past? Like here, did Ali go out yesterday? Look at him. This is what he had done yesterday, what he did yesterday. No, he didn't. He stayed at home. Also, what did he do at home? Yesterday, he stayed at home. He worked on his computer. So, stayed, notice. Did he sleep early? Let's look at the time. 9. Did he sleep early? Yes, 9 is so good. Yes, he slept early. Then, when did he sleep? You can look at the time and you will tell that he slept at 9. Notice this is slept because we have did. Okay, this is answering yes, no questions on did. Using time expressions for the past. What are the time expressions? Like expressions or words that will tell you that now you can use the simple past tense. Like 2010, 2011, 2000, yesterday, last week, and a week ago. Any expression that you believe that shows you that something that happened in the past, you can use it. On page 17, we use the past progressive tense plus when and past simple tense. We made a connection between simple past and past progressive using when. When do we use this or that? So we're having a long action and a short one. Ahmed Zuwail teach in California win the Nobel Prize. Teaching in California and winning the Nobel Prize. So Ahmed Zuwail was teaching in California when he won the Nobel Prize. Notice the short action with when. Short action with when. Also, 2, they crossed the border, the earthquake happened. Crossing the border, suddenly something happened. They were crossing the borders when the earthquake happened. I was giving a class when someone knocked the door. Someone knocked the door. Okay. Then I want you to refer to your books on page 102. There is a long list of words like here, government, reunification, satellite, disease, poverty, security, traffic, affect, launch, legendary, establish, and employment. There is a long list of words that you can refer to. Choose your favorite word or words. Which ones would you prefer to use much more? If you still have any questions, I want you to go through the unit again and read it. Give yourself another chance. Listen to the audio material. Find the listening part, the listening text, and listen to them. Study the grammar and the form, meaning, and function, if it is a grammar or a form, meaning, and function. And if you still have any question, your teachers are always there for you, are going to help you and answer your questions. I guess that is it for our lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.